The little couple star Jen Arnold and Bill Klein's house caught fire today. The family has lost an estimated $2 million in damages. Jen Arnold's condition is very serious, and she has been admitted to the hospital. Here is everything that happened. On July 24th, 2025, at about 5:30 in the morning, a terrible accident happened. The home of Jen Arnold and Bill Klein, the well-known stars of the reality TV show The Little Couple, caught fire. The incident left the family facing a huge loss and a frightening situation. Early reports say the damage from the fire may reach nearly $2 million. But the biggest concern right now is Jen Arnold's health. She is currently in critical condition in the hospital. To understand what happened, we have to go back to the early hours of that morning. Jen Arnold, Bill Klein, and their two adopted children, Will and Zoe, were asleep in their two-story home on Bayside Drive. For this family, the house was more than just a building. It was a place filled with memories, love, and years of hard work. Jen is a respected neonatologist, and Bill is a successful businessman. Over the years, they created a warm home for their family despite facing many challenges in life. But around 5:20 a.m., something went terribly wrong. According to early information from the St. Petersburg Fire Department, the fire may have started in the kitchen. Investigators believe it could have been caused by an electrical problem, possibly from a faulty appliance or an overloaded circuit. What began as a small spark quickly turned into a dangerous fire. By about 5:30 a.m., smoke alarms started going off throughout the house. The loud sound woke Bill and the children. Bill immediately reacted and rushed to the bedrooms upstairs to get Will and Zoe out safely. The smoke was already spreading through the house, and the heat was becoming intense. A neighbor later described what they saw that morning. They said they woke up when they heard sirens outside. When they looked out the window, they saw flames coming from the Klein family's home. The neighbor said it looked like something out of a nightmare. They saw Bill standing outside with the children, calling for help. But Jen was not with them, which made the situation even more frightening. The neighbor quickly called emergency services. Bill managed to guide Will and Zoe out of the house through the smoke and down the stairs. Thankfully, both children were able to escape safely. However, Jen Arnold was still inside. Because of her skeletal dysplasia, which has caused health challenges throughout her life, escaping the burning house quickly was more difficult for her. As the fire spread through the building, she became trapped near the back of the home. The smoke and heat quickly filled the space. When firefighters arrived, they forced open the rear door of the house and searched inside. They eventually found Jen unconscious and barely breathing among the heavy smoke and damage. Emergency responders rushed her out of the house and immediately began giving medical help. Jen Arnold was then taken by ambulance to St. Petersburg General Hospital, which is about 5 miles away. Paramedics worked hard to stabilize her while the ambulance rushed through the streets. At the same time, Bill stood outside with Will and Zoe watching firefighters fight the fire that was destroying their home. By around 7:45 a.m., the fire was finally under control. Firefighters spent more than 2 hours battling the flames and used thousands of gallons of water to put it out. By that time, the house had suffered massive damage. The roof had collapsed and much of the inside of the home was destroyed. Insurance experts later estimated that the total loss could reach about $2 million. This includes the structural damage to the house, the belongings inside, and the cost of rebuilding. But for Jen and Bill, the financial loss is only part of the tragedy. The home held many important memories for the family. It was where their son Will took his first steps and where their daughter Zoe learned to ride her bicycle. It was where the family celebrated birthdays, holidays, and many happy moments together. Inside the house were many personal items that cannot be replaced. There were photo albums from their adoption journeys in China and India, Jen's medical awards, Bill's business memories, and many small family keepsakes. Sadly, most of these items were lost in the fire. A close friend of the family said seeing the house after the fire was heartbreaking. They explained that Jen and Bill have always been kind and supportive people, and the home meant everything to them. But the biggest worry for everyone is Jen. Right now, she is the one fighting the hardest battle. The cause of the fire is still being investigated. Experts currently believe an electrical problem, may have started it, which is one of the most common causes of house fires. For now, the Klein family has lost nearly everything in their home and is hoping for good news from the hospital. At St. Petersburg General Hospital, Jen Arnold is being treated in the intensive care unit. She is connected to several machines that are helping doctors monitor her condition. Doctors say her condition is critical. She suffered severe smoke inhalation during the fire and also received second-degree burns on her arms, hands, and feet. These injuries have made her recovery more complicated. Smoke inhalation happens when someone breathes in harmful gases and particles from a fire. It can damage the lungs, cause swelling in the airways, and sometimes lead to breathing failure. Because of this, doctors have placed a breathing tube to help Jen breathe. She is being closely monitored by medical staff around the clock. Her burns, while not considered life-threatening by themselves, still require careful treatment. Second-degree burns cause painful blisters and damage to the skin, and they must be treated carefully to prevent infection. Doctors say recovery from injuries like these can take time. Even though the situation is very serious, medical experts say there's still hope with proper treatment and care. Jen Arnold is not new to medical struggles. She was born with skeletal dysplasia, a form of dwarfism that has affected her health throughout her life. Because of this condition, she has gone through more than 30 surgeries. These included spinal operations and even cancer treatment back in 2013. Through all of it, she has always shown incredible strength and determination. She has always been known as a fighter and a survivor. But this situation feels more serious than anything she has faced before. Bill has been staying as close to her as possible. He is spending time at the hospital while also making sure their children, Will and Zoe, are safe. For now, the kids are staying with neighbors while the family deals with this crisis. The family has asked for privacy during this very difficult time. However, Bill shared a short message through a close friend. In that message, he said that Jen is the strongest person he knows. He explained that the family is taking things one day at a time and that they are very thankful for the support and prayers coming from people everywhere. Right now, doctors are focused on stabilizing Jen. They are working to keep her oxygen levels steady, manage her pain, and monitor her condition closely. Everyone around her is hoping and praying for a miracle. To understand why so many people care deeply about this situation, it helps to remember who Jen Arnold and Bill Klein are. They are not just television personalities. They are real people who have shared their lives with viewers for many years. Their journey first became widely known in 2009 when the reality show The Little Couple began airing on TLC. The show followed their daily life and showed their story of love, determination, and resilience. Jen and Bill actually met in 2006 through an online dating site designed for little people. Jen, a highly intelligent neonatologist, and Bill, a confident and energetic businessman, quickly formed a strong connection. They got married in 2008. Their wedding special, called Little People, Just Married, became very popular with viewers. Because of that success, TLC decided to create a full television series about their lives. For 14 seasons, the show shared their journey with the world. Jen's career as a doctor has been extremely inspiring. She has worked at some of the top children's hospitals in the country, including Texas Children's Hospital and Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. Her work focuses on caring for premature babies, giving them the same determination and compassion she brings to her own life. Bill has also built a successful career. He started a business called Rocky and Maggie's Pet Shop, proving that physical limitations never stopped his ambition. But their greatest achievement has always been their family. In 2013, they adopted their son Will from China and their daughter Zoe from India. These two children brought even more joy and purpose into their lives. Viewers of the show watched many important moments in their family life. They saw the children's first words, their first days of school, and many everyday moments that make parenting special. Jen and Bill have always been open about the challenges that come with raising children while living with dwarfism. Even with those challenges, they have handled life with humor, patience, and grace. In 2017, the family moved to St. Petersburg, hoping for a new chapter after spending many years in Houston. The home that caught fire today was supposed to be their dream home. It was the place where they planned to build more memories and spend many years together. Now that dream home has been destroyed and their future feels uncertain. Losing a home in a fire is not only about financial loss. It is about losing memories, comfort, and the sense of safety that a home provides. For Jen and Bill, this loss is deeply painful. Throughout their lives, they have faced many difficult challenges. They have dealt with health problems, social barriers, and the daily difficulties that come with dwarfism. But this situation feels different. One neighbor described seeing Bill after the fire early that morning. They said Bill was standing outside the house holding Will and Zoe. He was staring at the burned home quietly. He didn't say much, but his face showed deep sadness. According to the neighbor, it was clear that he felt completely broken in that moment. The family has lost almost everything, and now Jen is fighting for her life. The damage from the fire is not only physical. The emotional impact may last much longer. Will and Zoe are only 11 and 9 years old. They are still too young to fully understand what has happened. For now, they are staying with neighbors and asking questions about when their mother will come home and when they can return to their house. Bill is trying his best to stay strong for them, but he is also grieving. A close friend explained that Bill is doing everything he can to protect the children from the full weight of the tragedy. Still, they know he is deeply worried. Jen has always been the emotional center of the family, the one who keeps everyone strong. Without her, everything feels uncertain. The family now faces the overwhelming task of rebuilding their lives. Despite the pain, many people believe that if anyone can recover from something like this, it is Jen and Bill. They have always been honest with their fans. Over the years, they have shared both happy and difficult moments openly. This tragedy is another chapter in their story. By being open about their struggles, they have inspired many people who face challenges in their own lives. House fires like this one are sadly not uncommon. According to the National Fire Protection Association, more than 350,000 homes in the United States catch fire every year. These fires cause billions of dollars in damage and result in thousands of deaths. The most common cause of house fires is cooking accidents. Electrical problems, like the one suspected in the Klein home, are also a major cause. Other causes include heating equipment, smoking, and candles. Investigators believe the Klein family fire may have been caused by an electrical fault in the kitchen. It could have been a short circuit in an appliance or a problem with the wiring. During times like this, communities often come together to help. In St. Petersburg, that is exactly what is happening. Within hours of the fire, neighbors, friends, and fans of the family began organizing ways to help. People quickly started offering support, donations, and assistance to help the family through this difficult time. One neighbor explained that Jen and Bill are not just television stars in their community. They are known as kind neighbors and generous people who have always supported local events and charities. Because of that, many people felt they needed to help in return. A fundraiser organized by a local church group raised more than $50,000 on its very first day. Fans from around the world also started donating money and sending messages of encouragement. Many of those messages express hope for Jen's recovery. Some supporters wrote that Jen has inspired them for many years and encouraged her to keep fighting. Others wrote messages telling Bill, Will, and Zoe that they are not alone and that people everywhere are thinking about them. Even children in the neighborhood joined the effort. Some kids set up a lemonade stand and donated all the money they made to help the family. Local businesses have also offered help by donating clothes, toys, and everyday essentials to replace some of the items lost in the fire. A nearby hotel has even offered the family a free suite, so they have a place to stay while they figure out their next steps. All of this support has given Bill strength during one of the hardest moments of his life. A neighbor shared that Bill said he has never felt so supported by the community. He explained that while this help cannot fix everything, it gives the family hope. Right now, their biggest wish is simple. They want Jen to recover and come home. Later tonight, the community plans to gather outside St. Petersburg General Hospital for a vigil. People will stand together quietly, praying and hoping for Jen's recovery. It will be a powerful reminder that even during the darkest moments, compassion and support can bring light. As this difficult day comes to an end, the Klein family is still facing uncertainty. But surrounded by love, support, and hope, they are not facing it alone. As night fell over the city, the atmosphere outside the hospital became quiet but emotional. Dozens of people slowly gathered near the entrance, holding candles. Some were neighbors, some were friends, others were fans who had followed the family's journey for years. No one spoke loudly. Most people simply stood together in silence, hoping for good news. A few people held small signs with supportive messages. Others whispered prayers. The soft glow of candlelight reflected the deep concern everyone felt for Jen and her family. Inside the hospital, doctors and nurses continued working carefully. Every hour mattered. Jen's medical team monitored her breathing, her heart rate, and the oxygen levels in her blood. Smoke inhalation can cause serious damage to the lungs, and sometimes the full impact takes time to appear. For now, the goal was to keep her stable. Bill spent most of the evening sitting quietly in a chair outside the intensive care unit. Occasionally, nurses came out to update him about Jen's condition. Each update was small, but each one meant everything. Friends who came to support him noticed how exhausted he looked. It had been a long and terrifying day. Still, he tried to remain calm for the sake of his children. Will and Zoe were not at the hospital that night. Friends and neighbors believed it would be less stressful for them to stay in a safe and quiet place. They were being cared for by a close family friend who had known them for years. Even though they were safe, the children were still confused. They kept asking when their mother would come home. They asked about their house and whether their favorite toys were still there. For young children, understanding such a sudden loss is very difficult. Bill knew he would have to answer those questions soon. But right now, his focus was on Jen. Late that evening, one of the doctors spoke briefly with him. The doctor explained that the next 24 to 48 hours would be extremely important. During that time, they would watch for signs of improvement or complications. Hearing this made Bill realize just how fragile the situation still was. Despite the fear, there were small signs of hope. Jen's oxygen levels were slowly improving with the help of the breathing tube. Doctors also believed that her burns, although painful, were treatable and should heal with proper care. These small positive signs gave Bill a little strength. Outside the hospital, news about the fire continued to spread across social media and news outlets. Fans from around the world began sending supportive messages. Many people shared stories about how Jen and Bill had inspired them through the years. Some talked about watching the show with their families. Others said Jen's work as a doctor had motivated them to pursue careers in medicine. The messages kept coming. Some people wrote that Jen had always shown courage through her health struggles and that they believed she would overcome this challenge too. Others shared prayers and words of encouragement for Bill, Will, and Zoe. By midnight, thousands of people had seen the fundraiser that the local church started earlier in the day. Donations continued to arrive from different countries. What started as a small effort by neighbors had grown into a worldwide show of support. Back at the hospital, Bill finally stepped outside for a few minutes. When he saw the crowd of people holding candles, he looked surprised. Someone quietly told him that they were there to pray for Jen. For a moment, Bill stood silently, taking in the scene. The soft candlelight, the quiet voices, and the kindness of strangers created a powerful moment. He thanked everyone for being there. His voice was emotional as he spoke. He explained that the day had been the hardest day of their lives, but seeing so many people supporting them gave him strength. He asked everyone to keep praying for Jen. The crowd responded softly, promising that they would. After a few minutes, Bill returned inside the hospital. The long night continued. Doctors continued checking Jen's condition regularly. Nurses adjusted machines and medications. Every movement was careful and precise. In situations like this, recovery is often slow and uncertain. But Jen Arnold had spent her entire life overcoming obstacles. From childhood surgeries to major health challenges, she had faced every battle with determination. Those who knew her best believed that strength was still there. Early the next morning, as the first light of day appeared outside the hospital windows, the vigil crowd slowly began to leave. Some people had stayed all night. Before leaving, many placed their candles near the hospital entrance as a symbol of hope. Inside, Bill had not slept much. He was sitting quietly when a doctor approached him again. This time, the doctor had a slightly more encouraging update. Jen's breathing had stabilized during the night, and her body was responding to treatment. While she was still in critical condition, the doctors were cautiously hopeful. It was not a full recovery. There was still a long road ahead, but it was a step forward. When Bill heard the news, he finally allowed himself a small moment of relief. Later that morning, he shared a short message with friends and supporters. In that message, he thanked everyone for their prayers, donations, and support. He explained that Jen was still fighting, but she had shown small signs of improvement. The message quickly spread online. Thousands of people responded with more messages of encouragement. For the Klein family, the future remained uncertain.